you so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you in person today. So I'm going to be talking about how the experience of poverty can be manifested in utility technology use. So I'm a empirical media scholar, specifically interested in information inequity. My work primarily uses computational methods to understand how low-income people struggle to find the information regarding government public benefits and how they are targeted by advertisers and misinformation on health, finance, and education. I received my Ph.D. in communication from Stanford University last June, and then I subsequently joined the UT last fall. My work is inspired by information economics. A lot of research on information economics suggests that we have basic information needs that need to be met when navigating daily life in our roles as consumers, workers, citizens, and also entertainment audience members. In media markets, there are mainly 5 incentives that generate content that can help fulfill this information demand. To start off, a lot of freely available online information is driven by advertisers who aim to reach the potential consumers. Information can be supplied by subscription incentives, as we can see in the newspaper outlets that have paywall, or subscription-based streaming services like Netflix. Sometimes content is driven by the policy incentive to affect your political decisions. So as we are approaching the US presidential election season, we have been encountering a lot of messages from political candidates and camps, and these are the classic examples of the information supplied by the partisan incentive. Sometimes information is driven by the non-profit incentive to change your worldview. For instance, during the COVID-19 pandemic period, there were a lot of messages regarding public health issues. For example, in terms of mask wearing behavior and vaccination and the social distancing related messages were partly driven by non-profit supply sector. We also have the desire to share our feelings, thoughts, and opinions with others. And this self-expression information supply drives billions of social media posts and text messages and phone calls per day. So a lot of research in the tradition of information economics suggests that each of these information supply factors can have a bias, and the bias can be particularly problematic for economically disadvantaged individuals. To start off, a lot of low-income communities have become news deserts, meaning they have no access or limited access to local newspaper outlets. Many newsrooms in the US have struggled over the past few decades and disappeared across the country, but a lot of evidence suggests that news deserts have been really concentrated on low-income communities and communities of racial and ethnic minorities. Part of the reason is because there is less advertising and subscription revenues generated in these low-income communities. When low-income people are strategically targeted by information, sometimes information may be driven by firms that have been known for using deceptive, misleading, or even predatory appeals. There have been a lot of public policy discussions and also media reports regarding how payday lenders or for colleges or fast food restaurants should strategically target low-income communities. The hardships of low-income communities may be not readily picked up by the government either, because low-income people have been known for being less visible in the political process, as manifested in lower voting rates or limited campaign contributions. However, nonprofits may strategically target low-income people and focus their information efforts on engaging and informing poor people, because sometimes low-income people are part of the social issues a lot of nonprofits aim to solve. So low-income people may have limited internet access options, but once they're online, they have been found to actively engage in self-expression, especially on social media platforms. However, recent evidence also suggests that there may be some notable economic and racial disparities in terms of the engagement patterns on social media platforms. So overall, these findings suggest that there may be insufficient quantities and quantities of information that can help fulfill the information needs of low-income people. Also, the ways information processed can be shaped by a person's economic situation. So let me highlight some key points from the literature on the psychology of poverty and its implications for digital technology use. A large body of behavioral economics research has shown that poverty is a psychologically stressful experience. We have a limited bandwidth to process or engage with information. So when we struggle with less than what we need, our cognitive resources may be taxed. So when our financial struggles are triggered, we tend to focus on pressing needs of today. So for example, in a field experiment investigation, where low-income people were just reminded of potentially expensive expenditures, such as hypothetically expensive car repairs they need to do, their cognitive performance significantly decreased as much as making a full night's sleep. When low-income people were also reminded of their financial hardships, they exhibited increased present bias, meaning that they really overvalued smaller immediate payments over a larger long-term payments. Cognitive stress induced by poverty can be also manifested in mobile device use. For instance, research has found that when people are stressed because of some poverty-induced stressful events, they tend to exhibit shorter attention span per smartphone usage sessions, and also they tend to lose behavior control with using their mobile devices. So, given this theoretical and empirical evidence, how could we study these questions? There can be many different ways to explore the potential intersections between poverty and digital technology, and I use a new computational method called screenomics. So when I was at a previous institution during my Ph.D. studies, I was a member of the Stanford Screenomics lab. Screenomics is an interdisciplinary computational effort to observe, collect, and analyze really detailed time series observation of a person's digital media experiences. To put it really simply, customized research software runs in the background of a participant's digital devices, such as smartphones, tablets, or laptops, and continually takes a screenshot every few seconds whenever the device is used. That approach is really unique in that it allows direct observation of the actual content engaged across different platforms as people navigate daily life, moving beyond self-reports or specific platforms. To get a better sense of how this new approach may work, let's take a look at the sample video, which is a compilation of screenshot images generated by an undergrad RA at the lab. This represents her day of smartphone use, and it is shared by permission. And please note that the screenshots were taken in early 2019, so it might be a little different from our contemporary use. But please focus on how much it may resonate with your own daily smartphone use. So a lot of people checking a smartphone is probably the first thing that they do when they wake up, and the last thing that they do right before going to bed. So it really permeates a lot of the aspects of our daily lives. In this example, she was doing social relationship management by texting and interacting with her friend through video chatting and also through social media platforms. She also was listening to music for entertainment demand, and she was checking cosmetic items for consumption. She also checked the Caltrain time schedule or commute related to work. She was also monitoring footsteps, which is related to health. And another thing that kind of stands out is that the switches between different content were really rapidly executed, spanning across very different information domains. So one lesson we are learning by just looking at the screen is a lot of the, each of the life silos is kind of strung together through digital technology. And the traditional life domains may be more meaningful when they are put together as they actually unfold in daily life, moving beyond the specific bucket or labels of commercial platforms. So there are millions of screenshots collected from each participant over extended time periods, and there can be many useful types of information we can extract from screenshots. For example, using OCR techniques, we can extract text from screenshots and conduct some sentiment analysis. We can look at visual attributes of the screenshots, or we could conduct network analysis, maybe looking at how different apps are used in different to see which app serves as an exit point or entry point for different activities. And using this method, I collected more than 30 million screenshots from a total of 65 lower income US individuals and higher income individuals in metropolitan areas for 2 months in 2019. So that formed the basis for my dissertation work. There were a lot of interesting information domains that were captured in those screenshot data. But for today's purposes, I want to focus on how lower income people interacted with government public benefits programs using their smartphones. A lot of lower income participants in the samples relied on various government public benefits programs such as SNAP, formerly known as food stamp, unemployment benefits, or WIC, which provides healthcare, nutrition, and food for low-income families with kids. So I used 2 methods to identify how these online interactions with the government public benefits actually occurred on through digital devices. First, looking at the text, we conducted keyword searches to identify instances when the names of various public benefit programs that operate in the region that I collected smartphone data from actually appeared on the home screen. We also utilized the ad log to identify when the official government public benefits applications were used. And then through the iterative data quality check process, we were able to identify more than 5,000 screenshots that captured various interactions with programs. For example, this figure shows one participant's 2 weeks of smartphone use within the 2 months participation period. Each row represents each day of smartphone use, and the x-axis represents the time of the day starting from 10 p.m. and all the way through the 10 p.m. on the next day. Black vertical lines represent when the smartphone screen was on and how long it was used. The white blank spaces represent that the device was not used. Red arrows indicate exactly when this user accessed various public benefit websites or applications throughout the day, sometimes multiple times throughout the day, and over multiple days throughout the participation period. So we noticed that in just the daily life, a lot of low-income people actually interacted with the government public benefit website and applications pretty frequently. And more interestingly, there are a lot of instances that indicate that they faced obstacles accessing public benefits programs. For instance, on the left side, you could see that there was some slow loading and buffering of government websites when this user tried to check the case history. And in the middle, it indicates that there were some delays in the benefit payments. And then the right panel suggests that the system was, there were some outage issues with the servers. So delving deeper into these observations, I wanted to explore more how low-income people navigated this government public benefits programs online and how those interactions may be compared to their interactions with the private sector services to get a more comprehensive understanding of their interactions with the different services. So I focused on their interactions with the government public benefit programs and also their interactions with financial service firms such as banks and credit cards. Higher income individuals in the samples did not interact with the government public benefits, as we can imagine, but they accessed a lot of banks and credit cards, like commercial financial services sites a lot during the 2 month period. So that provides a unique opportunity to kind of situate low-income individuals' interactions with financial service firms compared to those of high-income counterparts. And then another motivating question was what I could have learned from their smartphone usage patterns to understand how encountering obstacles accessing the public sector and private sector services could generate some psychological reaction, because these are not really pleasant instances. So there are 4 main findings. The first finding is that low-income people face frequent obstacles to accessing public benefits online compared to accessing commercial financial sites. More than 1 in 3 of all public benefit screens reflected some sort of problems, such as slow loading websites, server outages, or delayed payments, versus only 8.4% of the finance screens. When we individually inspected the identified screenshots, we realized that actually user errors such as wrong passwords or failure to submit their research documents were very minimal in their obstacles. The most common obstacle encountered by low-income people was actually waiting for slow loading and buffering of websites and applications. Interestingly, there were some frequent waiting-related screens when they interacted with private sector services as well. So we delved deeper into the waiting experiences of low-income people when they navigated the public and private sector services. Low-income people faced considerably longer wait times for accessing public benefits compared to when they tried to access financial service firms. The median time was different at the statistical level, and we noticed that a lot of the times low-income people just patiently really waited until the government websites and apps finished loading, as long as sometimes more than 5 minutes. When we focus on the potential income-related difference within the same domain of financial services, actually, low and high-income people's interactions with financial service firms were generally similar. About 8.4% of all financial screens generated by low-income people indicated some kind of obstacle, such as waiting for slow loading or refunds not issued, something like that. And that's comparable to high-income individuals' experiences. And also, there were no income-related gaps in the wait times for accessing financial websites. So when we try to log in to, for example, like a banking app, it tries to encryption, right? It tries to do encryption. So sometimes there is like a little loading signal that pops up. So what appears to be happening is that low and high income individuals both face a very short amount of waiting time when they try to access financial websites, and that may not be as disruptive as when they try to access government websites. Then we took a quasi-natural experiment to understand how we can identify short circuits within the screenshot related to encountering obstacles to access the government's public benefit programs, and how these experiences may be related to changes in their smartphone use behavior in relation to their psychological reactions. We found that based on the multi-level analysis, low-income people tended to engage with fewer future-oriented words after they encountered errors with the public benefits programs. Also, low-income people engaged with more negative emotional work shortly after they encountered obstacles to access public benefits programs. When we look at how frequently they switched between applications, low-income people tend to switch applications more frequently right after encountering obstacles to public benefits programs, meaning they have spent less time, shorter attention span per. So recently there have been a lot of efforts by many government agencies to move public benefits programs online. One of the persistent challenges related to a lot of the US government public benefits programs is that they have really low take-up rates. A lot of the US public benefit programs usually have around 50% of uptake rate, meaning a lot of eligible low-income people do not participate in public benefits programs. Research suggests that there can be many different reasons why eligible low-income people may not want to participate in social safety net systems. There can be desire for independence, also cultural mistrust or stigma related to relying on government public benefits could be another hurdle. A lot of behavioral economics research also suggests that there are some information hurdles to accessing public benefits. Government application forms are very complicated to fill out. Also, there are multiple field sites visits that are required for submitting documentations and testing and also recertifying your eligibility. And then a lot of low-income people may not have access to cars. So these all different areas could really serve as the information portals and the psychological hurdles to accessing government public benefits. So recently, there have been some efforts to build government public benefits applications and websites where people can more conveniently access these benefits. So are these efforts working or have they been introduced their own challenges? My work suggests that there might be an initial indication that there are some very nuanced hurdles that low-income people may face when they try to access government benefits online. A lot of low-income people rely on smartphones as the only option to connect with the internet. So this smartphone usage pattern suggests that there may be some very nuanced hurdles that need to be addressed in order for this government initiatives to really meet its maximum potential. Also, a lot of the information in inequality research has indicated that there are multiple levels of inequality in accessing the internet in terms of the unequal access to the internet and how people actually use the internet and how people would derive benefits from differentiated use of the internet. My work is contributing to the third level inequality, in that even if people go on the internet, there can be many different levels of hurdles they may face, and that could work as a particular obstacle to accessing some vital services. Lastly, this work is based on some new innovative methods that provide one of the really comprehensive and most ecological measurements of individuals' daily technology use. Limitations are that it's really a bit observation study, so it's hard to draw causal inferences. So going back to the slow loading issues, we were unable to establish whether it was the participants' slow and unstable internet connection versus really clunky government websites. However, when we compared low-income individuals' experiences with the different domains, especially compared to financial websites, their experiences were a lot more smooth compared to government interactions with government websites. So it might be an indirect way to suggest that there might be more government-related problems, not the user-related infrastructure issues. But future investigations should verify those different sources of obstacles. Also, because it's based on the small sample size, there is a generalizability problem. And we use the 5-second sampling intervals. So there are a lot of potentially interesting information events that could have occurred during those 5-second intervals. And also, it means that the waiting time might have been an underestimation because we couldn't really see when they actually switched to different websites. So based on the 5-second interval, we just assume that if it switches to a different platform, that means that there is a possibility that this person waited for about 5 seconds. However, it's possible that there are different waiting experiences related to switching to different entertainment platforms just for the government to finish loading. But because it was based on the 5-second sampling interval of observation, we couldn't fully observe their experiences. So here at UT, building upon some lessons that I learned from this previous work, I'm trying to launch a mixed method investigation this time. I'm really interested in how people search for jobs online using their smartphones. I think it will be really interesting to see how they make sense of their job searching behavior compared to what they actually do using smartphones. So this is planned to start in October. So if you're interested in this kind of work, please let me know. I'm happy to chat more. My work has been supported by various grants and fellowships. That's about it. Thank you so much.